Hello, Internet. Welcome to How's Your Quarantine? I'm your host, Kasky Hunsader, and it's Wednesday, March 25th. Today we are going to check in with entertainer, activist, and politician Marti Gould Cummings to discuss drag shows over Facebook, their political campaign, and rent relief for New Yorkers. But first, let's take a look at a few COVID-19 news stories. First of all, we just got news today that the Tony Awards have been officially postponed for a future date, which makes sense since there's no shows playing right now. This comes days after the announcement that the Tokyo Olympics will also be rescheduled to 2021, which is crazy. An Arizona man has died and his wife is in critical condition after listening to Donald Trump promote anti-malarial drug chloroquine as a treatment. Oops, 1 second. Sorry, technical failure, everyone. Still figuring this out. So he took a drug that Trump said was going to cure this. And yes, people are pointing out the fact that what the man ingested was not the specific drug. It was a variant of the chemical used for cleaning fish tanks. But honestly, that's what proves this is a problem, because people are easily fooled. They don't use critical thinking, and they're willing to blindly listen to what the politicians say. And that's why it's so important that Trump stop lying and be incredibly careful about the things he proclaims. Of course, him not lying and being careful with what he says is never going to happen. But this is why the media needs to be careful when reporting what he's saying. And I talked about this on Monday, and I showed that Rachel Maddow show clip. The media needs to stop airing these daily press conferences, which are little more than campaign events disguised as important information. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick was on Fox News when he said that he and many other grandparents would rather die of COVID-19 than see the economy die. No, that's not how this works. Trump is also signaling that he wants everything to open up by Easter to get the economy going again, which is foolish, because making the stock market better so you can get reelected is not more important than public health. Yes, it sucks that everything is shut down. I'm suffering from that myself. My entire industry is on hold for an indefinite amount of time, and overnight I lost my ability to make any income. But if we don't stay like this until we can be assured the virus is brought down to a manageable state, our medical facilities are going to be overwhelmed, and then what's going on now is going to seem like a cakewalk compared to the total devastation of our society. We have to be slow and careful with any efforts to start up the economy again. In the early hours of the morning, a $2 trillion stimulus deal was reached, and it's going to include direct payments to individuals and families, small business loans, unemployment extension support, and loans for distressed companies. And this is a good thing. It's a good step in the right direction to help people who are struggling to pay bills and rent. But just throwing a bunch of cash at the problem isn't the only thing that's going to fix it. We need good public policy in place that helps support our healthcare system for all of this to work. And that's all I have for the news for today. My guest has moved to New York at the young age of 17 to pursue a career in the performing arts. Over the course of the last decade, they have built a name as a drag artist, activist, and television producer. And during the 2016 election, Marti Gould Cummings began the Hell's Kitchen Democrats, overthrowing one of the oldest political institutions in the nation. Now they're running a campaign for a seat on the New York City Council, all while continuing a incredibly busy schedule, especially considering everyone's indoors, of performing as a successful drag artist, often appearing for political events in full beat. During this period of self-isolation, they've been leading the way in both innovative entertainment through the use of live streaming of shows for kids and adults alike, while continuing political activism for the city. And their current pressing crusade is pushing the New York State government to enact legislation to take pressure off citizens and small businesses who are struggling to pay their rent in this economic downturn. Split screen, everyone. And please welcome Marti Gould Cummings to the show. Welcome, Marti.
Boom. Hi.
Hi, how are you? How's your quarantine?
Some days are great, and some days are a nightmare, which I think is like totally normal. I'm embracing every feeling and every emotion that comes, because I think, this is like totally unknown territory.
Yeah.
And the entire planet is going through it. Like literally, like billions of people are going through this same thing right now, and a lot of those people have it a lot worse than I do. So I'm just trying to stay grateful for what I do have, and grateful for the blessings in my life, and through that trying to be of service to those who need help in this time. You know, we're in uncharted territory. It's really scary, but today is a good day. 2 days ago was not so good, but today's good.
Yeah. So how are you personally holding up, in terms of being quarantined and all this?
I if you're able to, I think it's important to have a routine for yourself, because I think it can be very easy to just slip into depression, which is normal in
Yeah.
circumstances like this. Of course, there's going to be some mental and emotional things happening. But I, for myself, for my
Are you still there? I think we
I'll
lost
have
you.
my coffee. Can you hear me?
Sorry, we just cut out for a second, but if you can
Oh,
repeat like the
sorry.
last 10 seconds. No, it's okay.
Yeah, but for me, it's about setting a routine. That's what works for me. Everybody has their own thing that helps them. For me personally, for my mental and spiritual health, I need to have that routine. So I say, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time and have my breakfast and my coffee, and then I'm going to do only 30 minutes of the news just to catch up on what's happening in the world, and then turn that off. And then I get to work on what kind of activism work needs to be done. Today was about, somebody sent me, my friend Christine Quinn, who was the former speaker of the New York City Council,
Yeah.
runs WIN, which is a women's shelter. And Vogue did an article on that shelter, and they talked about how there's no Wi-Fi in the shelter systems in New York. So a lot of students, young kids who are in these shelters, aren't having access to the online classes that the public school system's doing for kids. So education is a human right and should not be determined by your how much money you have. And so kids in the shelter
Absolutely.
system need education as well. And so I posted about that today. And then, we have rent relief. That's a huge thing. That they've suspended evictions and mortgages for 90 days in the state of New York. But millions of New Yorkers are renters. Millions of New Yorkers rent their
That's
homes or
me.
their apartments or their small business. And so what happens when it's the 25th? What happens when in 5 days rent is due and millions of people have been out of work, or they have kids and they have to determine, okay, we got the light bill, we got the phone bill, we have rent due, and we have to feed our kids. What are we going to do? It is imperative that the government step in and suspend rent for 90 days, and then in 90 days reevaluate. Are we still in quarantine, or are people
Yeah.
back to work? Trump wants to press us back to work by Easter. That is not doable. That is not
No.
safe. That is not viable. Putting people's lives at risk for the economy is bullshit. And so it is imperative that the government step in and provide a rent suspension. And if it's not a big corporate landlord, but a small mom and pop landlord, I have a friend of mine who has an apartment that she rents, and so, for someone like her, there needs to be a bailout plan for these mom and pop landlords to help them through this as well. But I think it's absolutely disgusting that they haven't put rent suspension through yet.
Absolutely. And there is, I put a link I saw that you had
There's a
posted
Senate bill right
yesterday.
now in the New York State Senate that they're working on.
So if you're watching this right now on Facebook, in the notes for this video, there is a link that you can go to the website, to that Senate bill, and voice your support for it and get your and put your information in. So everybody, please go to that link and fill it out,
Yeah, so there
especially
are
if you,
there are people working on it for sure. But when it comes time to vote, remember the ones who fought for this and the ones who stayed silent on it.
yes. That is so important, and such a really good point. So that brings me to my next subject. Obviously, is that you're also in all this craziness. You're still currently running for city council. Where can people go to find out more about your campaign?
Well, my election, my primary is not until June of 2021, so we have some time.
Mm-hmm.
But the works we launched in September of last year. You can go to martyformanhattan.com. But my primary focus right now is. Yes, I'm still running for city council. The campaign's kind of, taken. That is my, obviously, like I believe I'm the best candidate for the job, and I believe that I should be who wins this election. But at the end of the day, like right now, we're going through things that are really scary. So I want to use my platform to be able to help talk about rent relief and things like that. And yeah, it's just a really crazy, scary time. It's scary.
Well, in the meantime, some of the stuff you're doing to kind of help people get through it is using your role as an entertainer and using Facebook Live and all those kind of forums. So you're doing both shows, drag shows at night, and you're also doing story time for kids in the afternoon. Talk a little bit about those shows.
Yeah, that's part of my routine. I have to stay in a routine, you know. I have to go to work. So Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. we have a grown-up show. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. we have our kids storytime show. And I actually just signed on with the Meatpacking District's Instagram to do an Insta takeover every Tuesday morning to do a storytime as well.
That's great.
And those are I love doing the grown-up shows at night, but the kids shows are so fun because I get so many videos from parents who show their kids doing the ABCs with me or singing Frozen or whatever. And it's just so sweet because I think, for us adults, we obviously there's a lot of anxiety, and we know. And kids are now starting to question, well, why aren't we able to have play dates? Or why, so if there's some relief to give parents an hour of peace of mind and give kids something to look forward to, that's such a wonderful thing. And I'm grateful to be able to do it. It helps, I hope it helps other people, but it certainly helps me in my mental and emotional state, because I think we're all in this together. And any opportunity to just try to bring some joy into this crazy time, I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and parents, if you want your kids to be obsessed with the best YouTube version of Baby Shark that exists, go to YouTube and search Marti Gould Cummings Baby Shark, because that is the definitive video. It's so great. I've sent it to so many of my friends with kids. They love it. That's really great. So awesome. You're doing those shows. I just want to tell you, in honor of you being my guest today, I was fully prepared, except I didn't get my stuff together because I'm still very much an amateur. But I was considering doing this episode in drag, and I had the hair ready. But my makeup takes too long because I don't know what I'm doing yet, so she wasn't ready. But I was fully prepared.
Well, you have plenty of time to practice.
So I have all the time in the world to practice getting her ready. But she was ready.
To practice, and we'll do this again. Both of us in full beat.
Fantastic. Okay, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game that I call the coronavirus speed round. And I'm going to get my graphics up on screen. And there it is. So we're going to do speed round. Quick questions for you. Just get a couple out there. Question number 1 is your 20-second hand-washing song. What's your go-to song?
Reciting Stephanie J. Block's Tony speech.
I mean, so this is only episode 3 and the second time I've done this, but that wins for the entire run of the show, however long that'll be.
Mom, I want a trophy, but it's I always tell you, little girl, it's not about winning. It's about showing up, doing your best, loving all people, and finding joy along the way. And to Sebastian, my husband, you are more than I could ever deserve, and I'm telling this on national TV. If you ever leave me, I'm going with you. Thank you very much. And then you do that, and then you sing the verse of Get Out and Stay Out, and you're good to go.
Well, that wins that question. Okay. Question number 2. In all of your downtime, what are you streaming? What are you watching right now?
Shark Tank. Is that weird?
No, not at all.
I watched Tiger King and was blown away. And then I watched Don't F with Cats and was blown away. I'm what is going on these shows? So then I was let's just watch something dumb at night. So we're watching Shark Tank from season 1.
There's nothing wrong with that. Trixie Mattel's documentary is coming out on Netflix in a couple days for people who haven't seen that yet.
That'll be fun to stream. I love Trixie.
Question number 3. What are you reading?
I'm actually reading, it's right there. It's called Mr. Know-It-All. It's John Waters' memoir. And so I read a couple pages a day. And I'm only reading, I'm a really fast reader. So I've limited myself to how much I read a day because I have read every other book in my house.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want to order something online and then because I feel bad for the delivery workers at this time. So I'm okay, let me slowly get through this book.
That's a good. And Apple's. There's been a lot of free ebooks online too.
Yeah,
if you have a tablet
reader.
reader.
Have to order a book, I will. But for now, I'm it's very hard though because I am such a fast reader and I love to read. So I'm okay, I'm only gonna do 5 pages.
That's a good. Well, we don't know how long it's going to last, so it's good to pace yourself on it.
Stretch it out, yeah.
And finally, question number 4: who is your favorite on Drag Race? Which I know is a tough question to ask
this
a
season
professional
or of all
queen.
time?
This season, who are you rooting for?
All the New York girls.
Of course. I knew that was going to be your answer. I absolutely knew that was going to be your answer. That's such a diplomatic politician answer to give.
All of them except for the one that's a criminal.
Well, there is that whole situation going on.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for playing the speed round. Marti, thank you for spending your time. I know you're very busy today.
Can you see my puppy on his bed?
Hello. Hi. Yes, adorable.
He's nap in his little crate right now too.
Oh, you've got some fur babies.
I love them.
People can find you everywhere on all the social media at Marti G. Cummings. Thank you for everything you're doing for helping out with this, and your activism is really appreciated. And folks, make sure to check out Marti's page and watch the live shows. And if you got kids, watch those Storytime hours. It's a great way to keep your kids busy, because I know they're driving you nuts the other 23 and a half hours of the day, because my little niece and nephew are driving my sister crazy. I know it. Thank you so much for everything, Marti. I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, my love. Thank you. Stay healthy.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, folks. So that is my interview with Marti. And that's all for today on How's Your Quarantine. Thank you for joining us, and we want to hear from you, how you're doing, what you're doing, and just know that you're safe and healthy. So you can find us on all the social media at How's Your Q. Our next show is going to be Friday afternoon. We're going to talk to Broadway actress and Tony nominee Mary Bridget Davies to chat about her new album and how she's doing concerts over her phone. Speaking of which, in about a half an hour, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Mary's going to be doing a Facebook Live concert on the official Janis Joplin page. So if you go to facebook.com/Janis Joplin, check that out. And then after that, at 6, you can head to Marti's page and watch their live show. See you next time. Take care of yourself and go wash your hands.